people, welcome back to the YouTube channel. You already know what time it is. It's time for the Burnley vs Chelsea preview. And can I just say, from the tippity top, I'm just so happy and relieved to just be back. Kind of just business as usual. I know obviously there's still rumours circulating, but I feel like I can now, after that statement from Roman, kind of just I've come to terms with it. I'm now at ease a little bit more. And obviously, I'll freak out again when the official owner comes in and I have to do my digging and find out who the hell they are. But until that day comes, which might be in the next week or two, I feel like I can just go back to normality. I hope the squad are kind of feeling the same way. We know what's happening now. That initial, bang reaction is kind of like it's settled, and now we can kind of just pretend like this isn't happening for a few days until it gets sorted out. That's what I'm gonna do anyway. Deluded, you'll call it, but it's what I'm gonna do anyway. So you're just gonna have to just get used to it. But listen, Burnley, we're gonna talk about it now. Obviously, like I said, there's reports of ownership and whatnot, but until we actually get the official word, I don't want to treat this like transfer rumours. This is not Dembele versus Felix. This is not Koundé versus Kilman. This is not, Declan Rice versus Tchouaméni. I'm really not going to just continue to keep going back and forth with you every single day about who the new owner could be, because there's so many reports. There's also people that will come and make offers under the table, out of the public eye, and we don't even know what's going on. So we're not going to be privy to all the information anyway. We may as well just wait to see what happens. Hopefully it gets wrapped up in the right way, not even in a speedy way, in the right way. But listen, Burnley, we have to take extra attention with this team, okay? I've spoken about this team many a time. I've paid them my respects. I personally think they will escape the relegation zone. That is my prediction, that they won't be relegated this season. I think they did good January business with Weghorst coming in. If you watch my top 3 Premier League signings of January, you'll know I think this striker is a big problem for them. Obviously, Cornet in the front two in a 4-4-2 is another guy that you got to watch out for. He's not really a typical Burnley player. But good scouting on their behalf, because he's a problem. Do you know what I'm saying? And to match him up with Weghorst, it's kind of like the old-fashioned little striker, big striker. I know he's traditionally a winger, but that's basically what you're looking at. The Andy Carroll to your Luis Suarez. Now, Andy Carroll didn't quite work out. I'm sure Weghorst will go a lot better for you. But listen, that front two, that's something we've obviously got to watch out for. And then obviously McNeil on the left-hand side, I think he's a good player as well. Now, for us, defensively, we are looking solid, outside the Luton game. Let's just chalk that off as a performance that it's just a response to the statement, and everybody's heads are just flying all over the place. Malang Sarr was clearly the most affected in that game. He's clearly got a close personal relationship with Roman. He must be distraught. So I'm just going to chalk that performance off and just get back to normality and say that our defence is solid with the first teamers in, with the club leading legend that is Thiago Silva. That's right, I'm giving him that title. I know he hasn't been there long enough, but I saw people asking questions who are current legends, Kante and Aspie, and I'm throwing Silva in as well, shamelessly. I don't really care what you think about that, whether you disagree. That's what I'm doing. Everybody gets one pass, and I'm throwing Silva in there. He'll be back. He's fit. Thomas Tuchel confirms that Trevor's back as well, so it looks like he's going to be fine. Aspie, too soon for him, but Reece James looks like he's fine as well. So it looks like basically outside of Chilwell and Aspie, we've basically got everyone back, which is good news, of course, because we're going to need to throw the kitchen sink at this. We know what Burnley's like. It's a wet, windy day. I'm not a weatherman. I'm not a forecaster. But everybody knows what you get with Burnley. It's not a surprise. You don't ever go up to Burnley and get a sunny day. Do you know what I'm saying? Without the wind and without the weather against you. It's just not going to happen. So we know when we go to Burnley, it's going to be a tough ask. The atmosphere is going to be rocking. They are in a relegation scrap. I always say towards the end of the season, you got to change the way you view these teams in a relegation battle. I remember Wigan Athletic crawling out of the relegation battle with Sean Maloney, beating Man United at JJB. These relegation teams, when they get into that sticky period of the last bit of the season where they got to fight tooth and nail for safety, you don't want to play these teams. You'd much rather take on the Brightons, the Palaces, the Leicesters, the mid-table teams who are not really challenging for anything significant, and they're just kind of like gliding through the rest of the season. These relegation strugglers, they're a problem. I'm telling you, they really are. You only have to look at the results of the last few weeks. Newcastle are right up out of that relegation scrap now. Leeds have just sacked their manager and brought in Jesse Marsch. They're going to be trying to make an impact there. And so on. So these are not the type of games that you want to play, and away from home especially is going to be incredibly difficult. But I do bank on us to take care of business, and I have predicted a 2-1 win. But let's get into the matter of fact, is that our team, obviously responding to the Luton game, for me, I know Werner got 2 assists and a goal. I know Lukaku scored. But for me, I'm going back to the attack that played against Liverpool. If Hakim Ziyech is fine and good to go, I'm bringing him back in there. I'm going with Pulisic again. I'm going with Kai. I know people say, it's a good opportunity to maybe build some sort of form for Lukaku, for Werner. For me personally, I wouldn't go that way. Now, people also ask me about physicality, and Burnley, they're a very physical team. Would you not be better off with Lukaku in terms of the physicality? For me personally, I'm going to go the other way. From the dual success rate that I'm seeing from Lukaku in the recent weeks and month, I don't think he's been particularly the most physical, combative striker that you could ever ask for. I don't think he's been winning his duels, his ground or aerial duels. So I don't think he's actually going to help us in this regard as much as we would have hoped or planned when we signed him. Just what I'm seeing recently. So I'm actually just going to go for someone that offers completely different in Kai. Kai does love a little bit of a scrap if he's on his A game and there's a couple screws loose, which I do prefer that version of Kai. You can see him getting into little scraps with the, very threatening and, imposing Harvey Elliott, very intimidating individual. He was getting into a good scrap with him in the Carabao Cup final. So listen, for me, I'm going with Kai again. I feel like he deserves it. He's been playing well. He had a very good Carabao Cup final. He was the only attacker for me that really deserved to pick up that trophy. He had a very good performance. And then on top of that as well, obviously there's going to be question marks about the consistency of Pulisic. But I saw the pre-match promo from the club, and I saw a good performance from Pulisic in the last game at Turf Moor. So I'm just going to run with it. I think it was the white kit, under Lampard, maybe that game. I think he may have got a hat-trick. Correct me if I'm wrong. So I'm just going to go off those vibes. Pulisic is very inconsistent right now. He's very up and down, but he is a good finisher, and I believe that he could potentially take advantage of running in behind off Havertz and getting a few goals. The finish against Carabao Cup Liverpool was not good, but I'm going to put that in the back of my mind and just go again with him. And also, there's not going to be much space in between the defensive line and obviously the goalkeeper. Burnley are not going to play a high line, so counter-attacking strikers like Lukaku and Werner, for me, just don't make sense. They want that space, they want to be able to run in behind, and Burnley are not going to give us that room. Burnley are going to sit deep, 4-4-2, and they're going to look to counter us. So for that reason, I'm going with the players that are better in the tight spaces, that can link up, and that's why I'm going with Kai, with Pulisic, and with Ziyech, fully fit, ready to go. So he's going into my front three, like I said, with the rest of the guys, Havertz and Pulisic. He's been in good form, he's been critical for us, and obviously him getting injured was a big loss in the form that he's in. So I don't think Mason Mount's form at the moment has been great. Obviously, I know he's been coming back from niggles and whatnot, but even this season, I've said it, I don't think his influence has been as high on the team, and I don't think, despite the statistics, I don't think he's been playing as well as he did last season when he won Player of the Year. I think Ziyech this season, now, at this current point, has been our best attacker. Not saying that that's good enough because, listen, best out of a bad bunch. Premier League title winning standards are here. But Ziyech definitely starts for me, seeing as he's back. He's been our most dangerous attacker in the recent months. Kai's been looking good. And Pulisic, I'm just going to stick with him and just give him a bit of consistency at left wing to just keep playing. There will be ups and downs, but I'm hoping that he turns that into some sort of consistency. And going back in the rest of the team, Reece James, of course, will start as well, seeing as he is fine and raring to go. Looking forward to his attacking impetus down the right-hand side. And on the left, if you're playing with the wing-backs, then you've got to go Alonso. If we're moving to a back four, of course, you bring back Malang Sarr. Now, for me personally, when I look at this situation, I say to myself, Alonso was good against Liverpool. Let's keep it right. He was good against Liverpool. We're playing against a front two of Weghorst and Cornet. It's going to be a 4-4-2. I do believe a two, striker system might be better maybe to match that with a three at the back, especially physically as well. With the corners, with the set pieces, it's probably better to have three, top centre-backs on the pitch for Chelsea than just have two. And for me, Malang Sarr in the air is a little bit iffy. So I'm probably going to go Alonso at the left wing-back spot. He is better aerially, I think, than Malang Sarr. Maybe there's not much in it, but I want those three centre-backs. I want Silva, I want, Trevor, seen as he's back as well, and I want Rudiger back in the team as well. We know Christensen had a few issues before the Liverpool game. Maybe Trevor, you just go with him. And I think Trevor had a really good game against Liverpool, so why not reward that as well, which is critical. And then on the right-hand side, like I said, Reece. A midfield, you can toss it up between, your Kantés, your Jorginhos, your Kovas. Maybe he will go with Kova and Kanté, considering we expect to dominate possession regardless, but you obviously want to deal with those transitions. He hasn't been playing Jorginho very regularly in the most important games recently, Lille, Liverpool, Palmeiras, so maybe he goes with Kanté and Kova. I'm not too bothered about that midfield three. I think it's all interchangeable at this point, even though it does lack balance at times. So that's my thinking in terms of the lineup. I do think we need to be very wary of the set pieces traditionally, of course, the wide free kicks, don't give away stupid fouls, and we need the aerial dominance on this pitch defensively. Attacking wise, I don't think we're going to have that anyway, so there's no point really trying to have it. Just make do with what we've got in terms of the movement and the pace, and obviously the interchange and the link up. But defensively, we need those guys to be, dominating in the air and not allowing Weghorst. Who wants to mark him? You take your pick. 6'6". Whichever one of you want to take him on aerially, you go for it. You know what I'm saying? But it's up to you. Maybe Thiago Silva, Rudiger, I don't know. It's going to be very interesting to see who Tuchel uses to pinpoint on him. And the final bit of the video I want to discuss is Loftus Cheek, because he was mentioned quite a lot in this press conference, and it's come up in debate a little bit. Loftus Cheek as a holding midfielder, as a number 6. That's what Tuchel has said is now his best position. Now, previously he said 8, I believe, and he did say he can play the 8 and the 6. I think this is potentially the development of Loftus Cheek, maybe after coming back from injuries, not having that same burst or as frequently bursting from midfield and being that box-to-box all-action midfielder. Maybe now a more reserved Loftus Cheek who picks and chooses when he goes in a 6th position will be the future. I think it's all down to minutes played. If he gets more minutes and he's trusted more in bigger games, and if, God forbid, there was an injury to Jorginho and we really needed another 6 and there was that lack of depth there that we talk about, and he trusts Loftus-Cheek and plays him, then I think that will obviously hold more weight. Saying that his best position is a 6 and that you maybe like him as a player, that's great, and I think great man management, because he does tend to speak very well on all the players, but I want to see if he gets more minutes to justify that trust, and we will see then how good he is in the 6 at the highest level, not really just Luton, but at the highest level consistently against the better teams that will cause more problems in between the lines, where you've got to track runners and have awareness. And on top of that, then we'll see if he has a long-term future here in terms of playing in the 6 going forward. And it's all dependent on what you want for Loftus-Cheek as a fan as well. Like, I personally would love to see him just starting games, even if it's not at Chelsea. I just want to see Loftus-Cheek playing week in, week out and balling out, like a Tammy Abraham is doing at Roma. I'm happy for Tammy. I prefer Tammy at Roma than at Chelsea on the bench or third choice under Thomas Tuchel. I don't really get so selfish in terms of players, especially that I like from Cobham. If they're not playing here or they're not getting sufficient game time, go and play elsewhere. Go and ball out. Go and rep Cobham FC to the highest. Go and try and get in the England squad. Go and live life, enjoy it, be loved by fans. As long as you're not going to a direct competitor, it's all good with me. But that's my thoughts on Loftus-Cheek. Let me know what you think in the comments about Loftus-Cheek potentially playing in the DM role. Is he going to give us that depth that Saul Niguez didn't in terms of backup for Jorginho? Does he have a long-term future? For me personally, I think it's very much in the air. And I think if we're going to bring in the midfielders like the Gallaghers, like the new 6 that we've been linked with, then I personally think he probably does need to go. But let me know what you think in the comments. And smash up the icons as always. Give me your score predictions as well. And I'll see you, man, in a bit. Big up your damn selves. Turf Moor, here we come. Peace, people. Let's move.